Hello, future warriors, and welcome to SSB Crack Exams. I'm Hemant, and I'm back here again with the next part regarding the monthly current affairs session that covers the complete news regarding the 1st of January 2021 all the way up towards 3rd of February 2021. So, if in case you people are preparing for the upcoming defense examinations, these important current affairs are extremely important for those candidates who are preparing, who are going to appear for various defense exams and SSB interviews in the month of February, that means this month, and in the next month like March and April also. So make sure that this particular whole content is extremely important for you. You're noting down every particular issue wherever you find it very useful for you. So I hope that the session will be extremely helpful to you. Okay, so before beginning, as I always introduce to you, that SSB Crack Exams is India's largest, most preferred online defense exams preparation portal. If we are one-stop solution for you, if in case you're preparing for the upcoming defense exams like NDA, CDS, AFCAT, INET, Territorial Army, Indian Air Force, Admin, Group X, Group Y, CAPF Assistant Commandant's exam, also for the entrance exam of the Army Cadet College or Military Nursing Service, I highly recommend you to download the Android app, or also we can go through our website learn.ssbcrackexams.com, go through the complete content. You can subscribe yourself to your favorite course, wherein which we people are providing you the complete detailed lecture content, study materials, sample practice questions, quizzes, exercises and mock tests that are all made taking into consideration the latest exam patterns. You can even follow us on all sort of social media platforms to keep yourself updated with the most important Indian and international related inputs. Starting off with the headlines regarding the current affairs from 1st of January 2021 to 3rd of February 2021, the second part's important news. In the previous session, we covered around 30 most important updates. So beginning with the next most important one is the first update is regarding the second edition of India Innovation Index launched by the Niti Aayog. Then comes new ant species discovered from Kerala has been named after evolutionary biologist Professor Amitabh Joshi. Then comes regarding the status of the avian influenza or the bird flu virus in the country. Then in the fourth important section, we will discuss about the Collab CAD software which has been launched in our country. Going through Arjun Munda, the Tribal Affairs Minister, receiving the Scotch Challenger Award. Then comes a giant rock bee honey has been added to the Tribes India collection. Then we will discuss in a very brief way about the 25th Amendment of the United States Constitution. Then about the India's first double-stacked long-haul container train. Then we will discuss about Japan launching the world's first wood-based satellite in the future. Then also we will discuss about how Virat Kohli has won the ICC Male Cricketer of Decade Award and Mahendra Singh Dhoni has been picked up as the Spirit of the Cricket Award. Then United States President Donald Trump, previous president, has been signed a Tibetan Policy and Support Act. We will discuss things regarding that. And then we will also have a brief understanding about international blue flag hoisted at 8 beaches across the country. Then we will get to know through about the India's first pollinator park inaugurated in Haldwani. Then comes about Tihan in IIT Hyderabad, which is India's first test bed for autonomous navigation systems. Then comes the South Korea's artificial sun breaking the world record. Then an E-committee of the Supreme Court bagging the Platinum Award for the excellence in digital governance. Thereafter, we will discuss about IFSCA becoming a member of IOSCO. Then the 40th Indian scientific expedition to Antarctica. Thereafter, Prime Minister inaugurating the National Atomic Scale at the National Meteorology Conclave. Then we will discuss about the Global Economic Prospects Report 2020 recently, which is released very recently by the World Bank. Then we will discuss about the Faustin Archange Touadera has been re-elected as the President of the Central African Republic, a country in the African continent. Thereafter, we will discuss about International Akhand Conference EDUCON 2020 and its highlights. Then on 12th of January 2021, our country celebrated the National Youth Parliament Festival. Thereafter, ISRO adopting 100 Atal Tinkering Labs across country to make sure that children will prosper in science in future. Then after, we will discuss about NASA is to launch the most powerful rocket in the world. Thereafter, we'll also go through about the United States naming Cuba as a state sponsor of terrorism. Then we will discuss about Henley Passport Index launched by the International Air Traffic Association. Then we will discuss about the highlights of the One Planet Summit, and the Forest Minister of State Avambao Nyumai has been launching the COSFOM website recently. Then we will discuss about the highlights of the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana third phase. Then about India's first fire park inaugurated in Bhubaneswar in Odisha. And the last news we will discuss about the 6-member working group to regulate the digital frauds of the Reserve Bank of India. So these are the most important highlights. So I hope that these highlights will be very, very helpful for you. Okay. So beginning and starting off with the first and foremost important update is regarding the second edition of the India Innovation Index that has been launched very recently by the Niti Aayog, which is a very, very important non-constitutional body of our country. So it is extremely important that you need to remember these important points. So along with the Institute for Competitiveness has actually released this particular index on 20th of January 2021, sir. Okay. And regarding this particular India Innovation Index, Delhi has topped this particular list, and the major gainer was named as Chandigarh. Karnataka and Himachal Pradesh are lead in their respective categories. We need to understand that this particular first edition of this particular India Innovation Index was launched long back in 2019, and here it is again launched in 2021. This particular report, it examines the innovation capabilities and performance of the states and union territories. So which particular city has been bagged with this particular first award? It has been the awarder is Delhi, right? So this got the first place. Going through with the next most important update is regarding a new ant species discovered from Kerala being named after the evolutionary biologist Professor Amitabh Joshi. He is Professor Amitabh Joshi, and this particular new ant species was formed in the Periyar Tiger Reserve of Kerala, sir. Okay, remember this might be coming in the upcoming examinations. Okay, this is a very, very important. So this new ant species has been named as what, sir? It is named as Ooereria joshi. Okay, Ooseria or Joshi. Okay, Ooseria joshi to be more precise. So Ooseria is actually a kind of ant genus. It is found in Kerala and in Tamil Nadu, and this adds to the diversity of this rare genus. It is like very rare form of the ant that we are finding out, and this is how it looks. So they differ from the others of the same genus based on the number of the antennal segments. We need to understand that Professor Amitabh Joshi, why did they name this particular ant species after him, sir? Because he is a distinguished evolutionary biologist from the Jawaharlal Nehru Center for Advanced Scientific Research. He has given a lot of important improvements and developments regarding the biological issues of our country. Going through with the next update is regarding the status of the avian influenza or the bird flu virus in the country. We need to understand that avian influenza has been confirmed till 28th of January 2021. I'm giving you the update up till 28th of January 2021. We need to understand that the bird flu cases have been confirmed in only 9 states as of now, and these states include Kerala, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, Uttarakhand, Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh and Punjab. Okay, so these are all confirmed. These are 9 states wherein which you can get the avian influenza virus through the poultry birds. That means in these states consuming chicken might be kind of dangerous. Okay, so make sure that you people are aware of this particular issue in the states of what? Kerala, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, Uttarakhand, Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh and Punjab. So make sure that you are following all the proper medical norms and you are following proper cooking procedures if in case you people are consuming the poultry birds. Going through, there are influenza virus regarding this bird flu virus has been confirmed in another 12 states also, but these are confirmed not in the poultry birds, but they are confirmed in the birds like crows and various other wild or migratory birds. Okay, and those states include Madhya Pradesh, Haryana, Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, Himachal Pradesh, Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Delhi, Rajasthan, Jammu and Kashmir and Punjab. So these are those 12 states where in which this avian influenza virus has been confirmed for only the crows or migratory or wild birds. Okay, regarding the poultry birds like chicken and all, for those birds only these 9 states are there as of now. So it does not mention that in the other states have to be very reckless regarding this issue. You should also be careful regarding this, right? Going through with the next update is regarding the CollabCAD software, which is a indigenously developed software of our country. So those mechanical engineers, aeronautical engineers and all of the various engineers who are related towards the development regarding the like civil cases, mechanical cases like that. So those people, they have to be getting a proper understanding about various softwares as of the current engineering curriculum is concerned. So if you people are kind of doing engineering or if you have finished engineering, you people are very aware of the softwares like CATIA, ANSYS, AutoCAD and all. So regarding just like AutoCAD and all of these softwares are actually developed by French developmentalists or American people. But this CollabCAD is actually a software which is developed by our Indians. Okay, so this is a Indian developed software. That is the reason why. And who developed it, sir? It is developed by the National Informatics Center and Central Board of Secondary Education. Both CBSE and NIC have both jointly together, they have launched this particular software, and it looks in this particular way. It is known as what, sir? It is known as CollabCAD. Okay. So it provides engineering solution for students and faculty of engineering graphics curriculum. And you should also understand that it is aimed to provide a platform to the students across the country to create and modify digital designs. So this particular software, it runs on Zone Linux and OS platforms. It is available in both standalone and client server mode. Okay, interested candidates can go through with this particular one, right? Going through with the next most important update is Shri Arjun Munda, who is the Union Minister for the Tribal Affairs. He has bagged the Scotch Challenger Award. It is a very, very appreciable part, and he has been awarded because of his e-governance and for the IT-led initiatives that his ministry is taking, and lot of transformation initiatives were done in the Tribal Affairs Ministry, and that is the reason why he has bagged this particular award. And the complete Ministry of Tribal Affairs has been digitalized, all the processes. That means the complete Tribal Affairs Ministry, as of now, it is going to be paperless extremely soon, and the whole data is monitored. It is data driven. The communication to the states is all given by an online report system as of now, and the all analysis regarding this particular one is based on performance dashboard, is updated on a real-time basis, and that is the reason why he has bagged this particular award. Going through now with the next update is regarding the giant rock bee honey has been added to the Tribes India collection. So this particular rock bee honey, this particular rock bee, the name of this rock bee is known as Apis dorsata. Okay, so this honey is known as what? It is known as Apis dorsata. It is a very, very important tribe, and this is a giant honeybee. It is a honeybee of the South and Southeast Asia, and it is found in the few areas in the Malayali tribes of Tamil Nadu. Okay, it is a unique variety of honey, and these bees are kind of bigger than the general bees that we see, right? Okay, they are typically around 17 to 20 millimeters long. That means they are extremely bigger ones, and the nests that they make, they are only mainly built in exposed places far off the ground, like on tree limbs, under cliff overhangs, and sometimes on the buildings, right? Going through, we need to understand with the next most important update is about the 25th Amendment of the United States Constitution. This is when the United States President, when Donald Trump was in the administration at that time, and he laid down this particular 25th Amendment. So what is this particular amendment of the Constitution, sir? This particular amendment has 4 important clauses, and it lays down how a United States president or a vice president can be replaced or succeeded. Okay, so that means what? How can one president get succeeded by the another president? This is how this particular law says about. So what does it do, sir? It includes resolving issues revolving around unfortunate situations, like if in case a president dies or tenders resignation at that times, then vice president will be considering to be taken into the power of the president, right? So these actions are considered to be that way in such case, and actions to be taken after a president becomes disabled to such a degree that he is unable to fulfill his responsibilities. So in that way, if in case it happens, then what it will happen? Regarding that, this particular law has mentioned very clearly. And we need to also understand this amendment was actually proposed long back in 1965 and was ratified by the states in 1967. It has made into law by the Trump's administration at that time. As of now, Joe Biden has taken as his successor and is doing job very appreciable part. And going through now with the next update is India's first double stack long haul container train has been launched very recently. It has been flagged off by himself, Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself, and it is the first 360 kilometer long. That means the length is itself 360 kilometer long. So it is extremely bigger one. It is a double stack long haul container train. The meaning of double stack is what you can see very clearly. Like you can see wherever, like a stack upon stack. If you are placing, this is one stack and this is the second stack. So you are placing stack upon stack so that you can transfer more amount of goods and services. So that is the reason why. So this is the first kind of attempt that was done by Indian Railways. So this is a long haul container train. It was from New Ateli in Haryana. It goes from New Ateli in Haryana all the way towards the New Kishanjung in Rajasthan. Okay. So all of this comes under which corridor? So it comes under the Rewari Madar section of the Western Dedicated Freight Corridor. Right. So this train whole length is around 1.5 kilometers. Okay. The only that train is itself 1.5 kilometers long, and it is horned by the electric traction. What more we need to understand, sir? All of these freight trains, they are operated at a maximum speed of 75 kilometers per hour, and the speed can be increased to 100 kilometers per hour. right? So Indian Railways has operated the mission Shigra, under which this particular mission, the trains will attain a maximum permissible speed of 100 kilometers per hour. That's it regarding this particular update. Now let us go through with the next update, and the next update is regarding Japan is going to launch the world's first wood-based satellite. Okay, so if you're launching the world's first wood-based satellite, what will happen, sir? If in the case in upcoming situations, if we are making those sort of satellites that are kind of environmental friendly, and then for progression of the satellite also you might recover a lot of materials. Japan's Sumitomo Forestry Company and Kyoto University, both of them are working together in aiming towards launching of the world's first wood-based space satellite, and their team is also working towards developing wooden materials which are actually extremely resistant to temperature changes and sunlight. That means what, sir? They are all working on those sort of wood materials that are resistant to temperature changes and sunlight. Okay, so this is the combat. If you are making those sort of satellite, it is very appreciable part, and it can also combat the space debris that can travel at a speed of more than 22,300 miles per hour and can impact the other satellites. A Japanese astronaut and a professor at the Kyoto University, Takao Doi, has said that all types of satellites that re-enter the Earth's atmosphere get burnt and release tiny alumina particles. And that is the reason why he's developing this particular wood-based satellite, because once they enter into our atmosphere, even if they get burnt enough, they do not cause a lot of harm towards the Earth's atmosphere. That is what he has thought about it. And regarding causing safer environmental changes, these sort of changes are happening, and Japan is way forward in thinking about this particular beautiful thought, right? Going through with the next update is regarding Virat Kohli winning the ICC Male Cricketer of the Decade award, and Mahendra Singh Dhoni backing up the Spirit of the Cricketer award. So both of these awards were actually two awards were backed by Kohli. They include ICC OD Men's Cricketer of the Decade and ICC Male Cricketer of the Decade. Both of these are awarded to Virat Kohli, and MS Dhoni has won ICC Spirit of Cricket award of the decade. So having hit more than 20,000 runs in the qualification period, Virat Kohli has also won Sir Garfield Sobers ICC Male Cricketer of the Decade award, and for his prolific record in 50 over format. The next update is regarding United States President at that time, Donald Trump, signing the Tibetan Policy and Support Act, which is a very crucial part. So United States Congress has approved the Omnibus Spending Bill. The meaning of Omnibus Spending Bill means what, sir? Like there are different sorts of bills that are named in the name of Taiwan. So regarding the name of the name of the Tibet. So in the different cases, in the different sort of bills, when you are amalgamating and keeping all the bills together, and if you release that sort of bill, that will encounter and address all the different bills that were proposed before, and if you are combining all the bills together, and if you're making it into an act, then that sort of act is known as Omnibus Spending Act, and the bill that is related to that, it is known as what? An Omnibus Spending Bill. Okay, so this legislation, it sends a powerful message of hope and justice to the Tibetans inside the Tibet, and it also bolsters United States support for the protection of Tibetan people's religious freedom, human rights, environmental rights, and exile Tibetan democracy like never. Okay, so Tibet people, they need democracy as soon as possible, and United States releasing this particular Tibetan policy and support, it clearly mentions that it is not at all accepting that Tibet is a part of China, whereas China proclaims that Tibet is a part of China. It says that Tibet is called as Republic of China, whereas the whole of China is known as the People's Republic of China. It is said in that particular way. So the main reason is behind that, and Tibet wants to free itself from China. And regarding that, United States has released a very important bill regarding this. And this bill also calls upon the Secretary of the State to not authorize any new Chinese consulate in the US. That means what? China cannot have any of its consulate in the US as far as this particular bill is concerned. Right? Now going through with the next update is international blue flag has been hoisted at 8 beaches across the country. Now why is this very important update, sir? If in case any particular beach, it has very stringent norms and restrictions about hoisting this particular flag. That means if any particular beach has been hoisted an international blue flag, that means it is very clear that this particular beach is considered to be an economically extremely important beach for that particular state or country. Right? So Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Shri Prakash Javadekar ji, has virtually hoisted these important flags, the international blue flags. So what is this particular thing, sir? Which organization gives the blue flag certification, sir? This blue flag certification is given by Foundation for Environment Education in Denmark. Okay, so Foundation for Environment Education in Denmark is that particular important organization that gives the blue flag certification, and this is based on 33 stringent criteria. If any particular beach has to meet all of these 33 strict criteria, only then it will be given this particular certification. So India has long back started its own beach cleaning campaign known as I Am Saving My Beach, and it is a very good campaign. The campaign is still going on. So as of now, 8 beaches have been accorded. I will tell you what is the list of those 8 beaches. So 100 more such beaches are also going to be made blue flag in the coming 3 to 4 years. And what are those 8 beaches that got this particular international blue flag certification, sir? They include Kappad Beach in Kerala, Shivrajpur Beach in Gujarat, Ghogla Beach in Diu, Kasaragod Beach in Karnataka, Pabudibri Beach in Karnataka, Rushikonda Beach in Andhra Pradesh, Golden Beach in Odisha, and Radhanagar Beach in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So I repeat the names of all of the beaches. They include Kappad, Shivrajpur, Ghogla, Kasaragod, Pabudibri, Rushikonda, Golden Beach, and Radhanagar Beach of Andaman Nicobar Islands. So these are the 8 beaches that were accorded the international blue flag certification. If in case you people have visited any of these beaches, mention in the comment section and tell us how did you spend time in the beach, right? Going through with the next update is India's first pollinator park has been inaugurated in Haldwani, right? Haldwani is a place in Uttarakhand. It is located in Nainital in Uttarakhand. So here India has inaugurated its first ever kind pollinator park. What is a pollinator, sir? It is that particular insect or animal that is responsible for the process of pollination. What happens if there is pollination? Pollination, if it happens, then there will be a probability of continuation of the life species. It will be a continuation of the plants and all the important animals also, right? So the country's first pollinator park with over 40 species of butterflies, honeybees, birds and insects has been developed in over 4 acres at Nainital's Haldwani in Uttarakhand, right? So what is the main objective, sir? It is to developing the part is to conserve various pollinator species, create awareness among people in general about the importance of the conservation of these species. That's it. Now going through with the next update is regarding the Tihan has been launched in IIT Hyderabad, and this is going to become the first test bed for the autonomous navigation systems. So what are autonomous navigation systems, sir? So those are those systems that will have any particular bigger system, like let them be for example, let them be aircraft or submarines or ships, whatever. They will have those sort of navigation that can check the and target enemy defenses by themselves. So those are known as autonomous navigation systems. Okay, so they are all working by their own. That is the meaning of the word autonomous, right? So IIT Hyderabad has been doing research regarding this, and Tihan has been set up regarding this particular one. And what is the full form of Tihan, sir? It means Technology Innovation Hub on autonomous navigation and data acquisition systems, right? So what is it? Technology Innovation Hub on autonomous navigation and data acquisition systems. So this particular hub was actually placed and it was launched. So it was launched by whom, sir? It was launched by the Department of Science and Technology under the National Mission on Interdisciplinary Cyber Physical Systems, right? So NMICPS, also full formed as National Mission on Interdisciplinary Cyber Physical Systems, has been launched under the Government of India. This particular innovation hub in IIT Hyderabad. So it will be the first test bed wherein which people will be testing upon the autonomous navigation systems, which are both terrestrial and aerial. And what are the other important things, sir? Union Minister of Education has launched these, and Shri Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank has laid the foundation stone of this particular innovation hub, and Government of India sanctioned around 135 crores to IIT Hyderabad under this particular national mission on interdisciplinary cyber physical systems. Let us now go and check on with the next important news, and the next update is regarding a very important one. And going through regarding the Tihan IIT Hyderabad, I have to give you a very brief understanding regarding that, and this is the last one. So a real-time autonomous navigation and data systems will be extremely helpful regarding. So these are the main important primary objectives, and going through in making and proper planning and understanding of the real-time navigation systems, then they will go on with making upon the standard operating procedures regarding the unmanned aerial vehicles or ROVs, etc. Thereafter, once the SOPs are made, then they will check upon with the quality data acquisition systems for all the aerial or terrestrial mobile environments under multi-sensory perception scenario. And these important ones will be used in different terrains, which include autonomous transportation systems or agriculture, or they can even be used in various other areas which include infrastructure, surveillance and environment. right? Going through with the next update is regarding the South Korea's artificial sun breaking the world record. Now, what is this artificial sun, sir? It is known as K-Star, okay? It is known as what? It is known as K-Star. It is known as the South Korea's very, very important scientific device, a superconducting fusion device. What does it do, sir? It uses magnetic fields to produce and stabilize super hot plasma. Okay, now why do they do this? Why do they use these magnetic fields to produce and stabilize super hot plasma? Why do they want to do this, sir? The main aim is they want to make a nuclear fusion power a reality. That means what? They want to produce electricity for the as basic power. That means you, as of now, we are producing electricity by means of hydropower, hydroelectric electricity. We're also having electricity by means of thermal energy. We're also having electricity by means of coal and various other issues. As of now, what South Korea is trying to think is it is trying to make the nuclear energy and converting it, the energy that is produced by the nuclear fission, that is extremely enormously huge, and it wants to convert that energy and to be used as applied into the household appliances, right? So this is the goal of whatever they are doing. As of now, they are converting a lot of important systems, and going through with that, they have made a kind of scientific system wherein which that system will use magnetic fields to produce and stabilize the super hot plasma. And what will it do, sir? In the end, the end goal is it will make nuclear fusion power a reality, which means a possibly a limitless source of clean energy that could revamp the way we power our lives, given we can get it to work as intended, right? So what does it do, sir? And this particular K-Star, which is also known, it is able to achieve a temperature of over 6.6 times more than that of Sun's. That means Sun's temperature is itself around 6,000 degrees Celsius. Like 6.6 times, as you can imagine how hot is that. So this particular device was able to reach more than 6.6 times the Sun's temperature, and it achieved the same temperature long back in 2 years back in 2018 also. But for 1.5 seconds only it has done it, and now it has achieved the temperature of 6.6 times more than that of Sun, and it achieved this temperature, and it maintained that temperature only for 2 seconds, right? No one has been able to sustain a plasma nearly as hot as this for a long period of time. So this was very, very good update, right? Going through now with the next update is regarding the K-Star. Also, I would like to tell you regarding this particular project, I would like to mention few points. So the Korean Institute of Fusion Energy is actually a joint research project with Seoul National University and Columbia University of the United States. Both of them are achieving this particular milestone on November 24. So Korean Institute of Fusion Energy, according to the report, it aims to achieve the fusion ignition for 300 seconds at a time by 2025. Okay, so the first fusion was achieved in 2008, and recording all of these is going since then. The E-Committee of Supreme Court has backed the Platinum Award for the excellence in the digital governance. So what is this particular thing, sir? So this important award is known as the Excellence in Digital Governance or Digital India Awards 2020. So regarding the Digital India Awards, the E-Committee of the Supreme Court has got the Platinum Award. Okay, so who awarded this particular thing, sir? It was awarded by the President of India on a virtual mode. So this E-Courts project, it was visioned and implemented by the E-Committee. Okay, so this E-Committee was our particular committee, and under their committee, the electronic codes was visioned and implemented. Supreme Court of India, along with Department of Justice and NIC, is a mission mode project of the Government of India. Now you people might get doubts, sir, what is the E-Committee, sir? Who will be in that E-Committee, sir? So this particular E-Committee consists of 4 important members, around 7 members it has, we need to understand. So the patron chief include Mr. Justice Sharad Arvind Bobde, who is the Chief Justice of India. Then comes the chairman of the committee, who include Dr. Justice Dhananjaya Y. Chandrachud, who is the Supreme Court judge. Then comes the vice chairperson of the committee, which include Mr. Justice R.C. Chavan, who is the former judge of Bombay High Court, and 4 other members. All of them come together as a part of the Electronic Courts Committee of our country, right? Going through with the next update is regarding the IFSCA becoming the member of IOSCO. What is IFSCA, sir? It is the International Financial Services Centers Authority. In the name itself, it is international, but it is not international. It is a Indian governmental organization. Okay, it works under the Indian governmental organizations. It's an Indian organization. So it is what? International Financial Services Centers Authority. Okay, and this particular IFSCA of India, it has become a member of an associate member of the IOSCO, which is known as what? It is the International Organization of the Securities Commissions. Okay, so it has become a part of this. So IOSCO is the international organization. It brings together the world securities or financial regulators. Okay, And why is this particular thing very important, sir? The membership of the IOSCO, it will provide the IFSCA platform to exchange information at the global level and regional level and in the areas of the common interest. And also this international platform, it will enable IFSCA to learn from the experiences that are faced by the IOSCO. We need to also understand about what are the currently important financial regulators in our country. The current financial regulators in our country, there are 6 of them, and they include SEBI, which is Security Exchange and Exchange Board of India. And then comes the Reserve Bank of India. Then comes the Ministry of Finance. Then comes the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. And then comes the IRDAI, which is the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India. And the last one, which is the PFRDA, which is the Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority. Okay, so these are the 6 most important financial securities regulators in our country. Going through with the next most important update is regarding the 40th Indian Scientific Expedition to Antarctica, and this Indian Scientific Expedition is being done from Excel India. So this is a very important one. Ministry of Earth Sciences has launched this particular important expedition under the government of India. The ice class vessel MV Vasily Golovin. Okay, what is this vessel, sir? MV Vasily Golovin has been deployed regarding this, and it is already taken up a members of around 40 members to Antarctica, and this vessel will return to our country in April 2021. Okay, so this expedition of India Antarctica, it has been limited due to the existing challenges of COVID-19. We need to also understand about the next most important update, and that is regarding the world's largest floating solar energy project in our country is going to be set up very soon. Okay, so where is it going to be set up, sir? It is going to be set up in the Omkareshwar Dam on Narmada River. So this particular project will begin its power generation by 2022 to 2023, anytime from next year or the next year, right? So this project, it will have floating solar panels. You can see how they look. So they will be around 600, produce around 600 megawatts of power generation capacity, and this electricity will be generated in about 2000 hectares of water area by installing solar panels in the dam. Right, so the main specialities regarding this is these solar panels, they are not affected by any sort of waves, let them be any kind of storm or whatever they are, because they simply are connected together, they float on the surface, and they are extremely helpful in generating proper power. The next update is regarding Prime Minister inaugurating the National Atomic Scale at the National Meteorology Conclave. Why is this particular very important, sir? We need to understand that atomic time is the most precise time that anyone can imagine. Like for example, what is 1 second? Have you ever imagined what is the definition of 1 second? How long is 1 second? So if you go through with correct amount of resources, you will get to understand that the time taken by cesium-133 atom in the ground state to oscillate 9,193,631,770 times, which is very important. Like this number that you are seeing, this particular one, around, it will be around 91 crores, like that. So this number is what? These many oscillations that are being made by the cesium-133 atom, if that atom. So that amount of time precisely is known as 1 second, sir. Okay, so like using an atom only, we have defined about how long a 1 second will be. So atomic time is the most precise time scale that we can see. As of now, in India, in National Meteorology Conclave, Pradhan Mantri Narendra Singh Modi has released and inaugurated a very important one, and he has released an atomic time scale that will be an atomic scale of our country, right? So only few countries in the whole world have an equipment to measure the atomic scale, and as of now, our country also has it. That means in technical words, we need to understand that this particular one, it measures the actual length of a second. Atomic clocks, you need to remember this sentence. Atomic clocks deviate only 1 second up to 100 million years. That means in 100 million years, you can find an error in the atomic clock, and that too only 1 second. Okay, so that precise they are. Atomic clocks are extremely precise, and using the international system of units to define 1 second, and I repeat, it is the time taken by the cesium-133 atom in the ground state to oscillate these many times. So in simple words, atomic clocks account 1 second after the cesium-133 atom has oscillated these many times. So now going through with the next update regarding this particular one, we need to also understand that this newly inaugurated National Atomic Time, India has become self-reliant in measuring time within the range of a nanosecond also. It has now achieved the accuracy level of 2.8 nanosecond, matching the international standard time. and this is extremely appreciable part that we can find out. Going through now with the next update is about the Global Economic Prospects Report 2020. This is released very recently by the World Bank Group, and according to this particular report, Indian economy is going to contract by 9.6% in 2020 to 21. So it has recovered 5.4%. It is going to recover 5.4% from 21 to 22, and the contraction is going to be occurred. The main reasons because of this particular economic contraction is because of the sharp decline in household spending and private investment, right? So the world economy is on contrast. If you have to see in the whole world, regarding the whole world's economy is going to expand by 4% in this particular year. The services and manufacturing sector are all gaining momentum. Next update is about Faustin Archange Touadera has been appointed and re-elected as the president of the Central African Republic. This is how the flag of the Central African Republic looks. So it is a country in Africa. So you can see on the top of Central African Republic, you can find the countries of Chad. On the west it has Cameroon, and on the south it has Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo. We also have on its east South Sudan and all. So it lies in between that, and the capital of this particular Central African Republic is Bangui. Remember, what is the capital, sir? The capital is Bangui, and the currency is Central African CFA franc. Okay, what is the specialty of this country, sir? It is a producer of gold and diamonds. Okay, so this particular country is a producer of gold and diamonds, and it has a population of 4.7 million. Okay, so Faustin Archange Touadera is actually currently the president of this particular country, and he has been re-elected as the president with winning more than 53% votes. So he's still 63 years old, and he has been into power as the president of this particular country since 2016. Going through the next update is regarding International Akhand Conference EduCon 2020 has been conducted recently, and Union Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank has inaugurated this 2-day virtual conference. Regarding this particular one, EduCon conference is organized by the Central University of Punjab and Global Educational Research Association, or JERA. The main focus and focal theme of this particular EduCon 2020 is envisioning education for transforming youth to restore global peace. I repeat, envisioning education for transforming youth to restore global peace. Going through the next update is regarding the National Youth Parliament Festival was conducted on 12th of January 2021. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has addressed this particular validatory function of the second National Youth Parliament via video conferencing. So NYPF is based on idea given by the Prime Minister in his Mann Ki Baat, and since then this has been taken into consideration. What happens, sir, where in this particular National Youth Parliament Festival, all the MPs will come together and they will discuss about the upbringing of the youth and the talent and qualities of the youth and how to make good changes towards the youth of our country. So the finals of this particular festival were held in the Central Hall of the Parliament, and we need to also understand that Modi addressed the validatory function, and the National Youth Festival is celebrated every year from 12th to 16th of January, sir. Okay, so 12th January is because it's a birth anniversary of the Swami Vivekananda, the Indian monk and the very famous personality who has ignited the minds all across the whole world, and he has introduced about the philosophy of India, patriotism, Hinduism in other people's minds. So taking into his consideration is still a very personification and embodiment of power of youth and proper thoughts on how to make and deal with the country's thoughts. So spreading the nationalism and the ideals given by Swami Vivekananda, on 12th of January, our country will observe the National Youth Day every year. And it is since then the National Youth Parliament Festival was conducted and ended on 16th of January, right? Going through the next update, also we need to understand that National Youth Festival is to bring the youth of the country together, showcase their talents, provide them an arena, creating a mini India where youth will interact in formal and informal settings and exchange their social and cultural uniqueness. So 24th National Youth Festival is being held in virtual mode, and the main theme of this particular one is Yuva Utsaah Naye Bharat Ka is the theme of this particular festival, and it suggests that the youth will bring alive the celebration of a new India. The next update is regarding ISRO adopting 100 Atal Tinkering Labs across country. Now, what is Atal Tinkering Labs, sir? These are those labs wherein which school students will come together and they will conduct scientific experiments and they will think about the upbringing of the communities of the scientific communities in future. That means what, sir? So regarding these Atal Tinkering Labs, we need to understand and go through in a very proper detailed way. And going through, we need to understand that this under Atal Innovation Mission Niti Aayog, it announced that out of 100 Atal Tinkering Labs, ISRO adopted 45 in phase 1 on January 11th, and remaining 55 will be adopted soon to promote education in STEM, and which is space education and space technology related innovation for the school students. So what do they do, sir? School students, these particular Atal Tinkering Labs, they will provide them proper machinery and equipment, and it will also provide them proper educators that will guide them and deal with them. Here what they are trying to do is whatever ideas, beautiful ideas they have, it is to collect those ideas and give them a proper platform so that they become future leaders very soon. The next update is regarding NASA going to launch the most powerful rocket in the world, and this particular most powerful rocket has been named as the Space Launch System, or SLS. Okay, so it is named as what? Space Launch System, or SLS, and this system is going to carry the first woman and next man to the moon. Okay, so this is going to be hauled into the LEO, that means the low Earth orbit. So regarding this particular, why is it called as the most powerful rocket, sir? The main reason is because it is going to generate 39.1 mega Newton thrust at launch. Okay, imagine mega Newton, 39.1 mega newtons of thrust at launch, and this is 15% more than Saturn V, and it is the highest thrust level ever achieved. That is the reason why it is said to be the most powerful rocket. Okay, still this rocket's height will be around 332 feet, and in the Block 1 configuration, it can send more than 27 tons to the lunar orbits. So the equivalent will be of 111 large sports utility vehicles. We need to understand, go through in detail regarding the NASA's SLS rocket. It will have the Orion upper stage configuration, and it also has a launch abort system, and it uses interim cryogenic propulsion stage reactor along with the launch vehicle stage adapter. It also has a core stage in which the complete engine will be looking in this particular way. You can see how huge this particular engine is. And it also has 2 solid rocket propellant boosters, and if you go through, it has 4 RS-25 rocket engines. Going through, the next update is United States has named Cuba as a state sponsor of terrorism, right? So United States has listed the countries that repeatedly provide support for the acts of international terrorism, and they mentioned them as the state sponsors of terrorism. So this particular list was released in 1979 for the first time, and it named Iraq, Libya, Syria, and South Yemen in it. Okay, what did it name, sir? It named Iraq, Libya, Syria, and South Yemen as the state sponsors of terrorism, and it has also named as of now Cuba also. But later on, some countries are removed, and other countries that are currently in the list of the state sponsors of terrorism are Iran, Syria, and North Korea as of now. Sudan was recently removed from the list. Okay, Sudan was named under this particular state sponsor of terrorism, but is recently removed from this particular list. So that's the news related towards the Cuba. Now let us go through with the next update, and the next update is regarding the Henley Passport Index that is launched by the International Air Traffic Association. Okay, so IATA will release the Henley Passport Index, and under this particular index, it will mention about how strong your country's passport is. Okay, so it will base upon this particular one. Most of the people will understand about the current situations that are going on in various nations. So this index that is released based on the number of destinations the holders can access without visa. Okay, so Nepal's rank is at 104, Pakistan's rank is at 107, and these two countries are as of now said to be the worst passports to be held as of now. Japanese citizens can travel to 191 countries without visa, and Japan is the top performer regarding this. Okay, so Japanese passport is the strongest and powerful passport in the world, most powerful passport. That means Japanese citizens can travel to around 191 countries without visa. Imagine how powerful Japanese citizens are. And after Japan, Singapore has bagged the second place. Singapore is in the second position, and Singaporean citizens can travel to around 190 countries. India's rank regarding this is 85th one regarding the Henley Passport Index. So Henley Passport Index 2020, Bangladesh is placed at the bottom 10. The ranks, if you have to go through, they include 61, 84 or 85 for India, 89 for Bhutan, 97 for Sri Lanka, 98 for Bangladesh, 101 for Nepal, Pakistan 104 and 107 for Afghanistan. These were the passport index for 2020 regarding this particular one. Japan still holds the most powerful passports in the world. Going through, we need to understand about the next important summit is regarding the One Planet Summit. It was held very recently in France. So this United Nations, World Bank and France, all of them are working together. They work together and organized One Planet Summit, sir. Okay. What is the main aim of this particular One Planet Summit, sir? It is focused on biodiversity to mobilize commitments to protect the ecosystems and make links to human health. Okay, the main aim is to promote worldwide ecological transformation. France has hosted the summit this particular year. And when did it happen, sir? It was happened on 11th of January 2021. Okay, going through with the next one is regarding Avambo Nyumai, who is actually the Environment and Climate Change Minister of Manipur. Okay, he has launched the COSFOM website. So Avangbo Nyumai is the Forest, Climate and Environment and Climate Change Minister of Manipur. He has launched this COSFOM website. What is this COSFOM website, sir? It is known as the Community-Based Sustainable Forest Management website. Okay, Community-Based Sustainable Forest Management or COSFOM website. So it is used for what, sir? It is used for the water resource conservation in Manipur. So it is a component under the Indo-German program known as Climate Change Adaptation in Himalaya. It will focus on sustainable community forestry, soil and water conservation. Going through with the next update is about the highlights regarding the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana Phase 3. It is launched on January of 15, 2021 in around 600 districts. It is going to be launched and this will be coming under the Union Skill Development Minister. Mahendranath Pandey has been looking after this particular one in the presence of the Minister of State Rajkumar Singh. The third phase will be spearheaded by the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship and will focus on New Age India and COVID related skills. We need to understand regarding the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. It is launched in 2015 long back and it is a flagship program of Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. NSDC, also known as the National Skill Development Corporation, is the main implementing body. It will implement this particular Kaushal Vikas Yojana with the help of the training partners. The main aim of this particular Yojana is to mobilize youth, take up the skill training with the aim of increasing productivity. And under this particular Yojana, people will be given proper certificates. As of now, it is also providing certificates so that they can go and look out for the proper jobs. Okay, the main aim is to increase productivity, align the training and certification to the needs of the country. We need to understand and go through regarding this that the main training components include 3 different types of training. They include short-term training, recognition of prior learning and special projects. Regarding the short-term training, what happens is any particular person who is actually a school dropout or a college dropout, they will be taken into consideration. They will be provided training and they will be awarded a grade or they will be awarded their marks based upon the National Skills Qualification Framework or NSQF, and then they will be given a certificate. Okay, and using that certificate they can go and search out for the jobs. Then comes the second one, which is known as the recognition of prior learning. The main aim of this particular one is, if in case you are any particular person who actually possess different kinds of skills, then you will be tested directly and then you will be given the certificate, right? So in the first one, they will give you training and then they will give you certificate. And in the second one, they will directly give you a test wherein which if you qualify, then you will be given the rank based upon the NSQF. Okay. So recognition of prior learning, also known as RPL, is to assess and certify an individual with a certain set of skills or with prior learning experience with the grade according to the NSQF. Then comes special projects. Under this particular one, you also have the certificate, you also have a lot of things. So under this particular one, it will ensure the training will happen in special areas and in the government premises and in corporate bodies. The main aim of this particular special project is to encourage training in vulnerable and marginalized group of societies. Then comes the training partners will also be there under the PMKVY. They are also mandated to organize the Kaushal Mela and Rozgar Melas every 6 months so that they will provide proper jobs to each and every particular person who has been trained and provided certification from the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. Right, going through also in detail regarding this particular one, about this complete PMKVY. The first version of this particular Yojana under this particular one 19 lakh students were trained against a target of 24 lakh. That means the first time when this particular Yojana was launched, people were not satisfied regarding this. But later on in the second phase, with an allocated budget, 10 million youth were trained and around 12,000 crore rupees were spent at that particular point of time. So going through, because from 19 lakh to around 10 million is a very good number. It clearly indicates about how people are interested in PMKVY. So in this third phase, the main focus of this particular third phase is to provide training to around 8 lakh candidates during the scheme period of 2020-21 with an outlay of 948.9 crores. The next update is about India's first fire park has been inaugurated in the Bhubaneswar, and the main aim of this particular fire park, it simply means that this park will educate the people about the fire safety hazards, right? So this will educate and bring awareness on the basic fire safety measures among people. And particularly students, Chief Minister of Odisha Naveen Patnaik has virtually inaugurated this fire park, and it is located inside the premises of Odisha Fire and Disaster Academy in Bhubaneswar. The next important update also regarding this fire park is to that it aims to provide spread awareness on fire safety measures, and it will be open for public on every Saturday. Okay, the park is equipped with all fire safety gears. Demonstrations on use of firefighting equipments will also be given to the people. Minister also launched the portal Agnishama Seva of the Odisha Fire Service. The final update that I'm going to discuss is regarding the 6-member working group of the Reserve Bank of India has been made up to set up and regulate the digital frauds that are happening across our country. The main aim of this working group is they will study digital lending activities of the regulated and unregulated players due to the growing instances of frauds in the digital lending space. As of now, people have shifted towards Google Pay, Phone Pay and various other apps wherein which people will digitally make the money lending transactions, and because these things are happening, the digital frauds are also happening as of now. So tackling those issues, Reserve Bank of India has set up a very strong committee wherein which they will check and they will study the digital lending activities of the complete unregulated, also the regulated players who are also involved in this particular digital lending space. And going through the main members of the 6-member panel, they include Jayant Kumar Das, Ajay Kumar Chaudhary, P. Vasudevan, Manoranjan Mishra, Vikram Mehta and Rahul Shashi. The key concerns of this particular committee is that they will unauthorized check players, pending quick hassle-free loans, excessive rates of interest and charges, unacceptable and high-handed recovery methods, misuse of agreements to access data on mobiles. All of these things are taken into consideration. This group will evaluate all the digital lending activities and they will make sure that the complete content is safe and secure regarding the money is concerned. That is it regarding the most of the important current affairs that I want to discuss as of now. So let us now have a very quick review of the questions by going through some of the most important questions. We will have a very quick understanding of what all the topics we have discussed under this particular second part. And the first and foremost question regarding now is, from which state the giant rock bee honey, a unique variant of honey, was sourced? Is it from Tamil Nadu or Sikkim or Gujarat or Goa? The giant rock bee honey is from the Malayali tribes of Tamil Nadu, right? Going through the next question is, who has won the ICC Male Cricketer of Decade award? Is it MS Dhoni or Virat Kohli or Rashid Khan or Steven Smith? The correct answer is option B, Virat Kohli, right? The next question is, India has launched which campaign for its beach cleaning? Is it option A, My Beach, My Water, or option B, India's Beaches, Live Source for Exotics, or option C, I Am Saving My Beach, or option D, We Must Save Our Beaches? The correct answer is option C, I Am Saving My Beach. The name of the campaign that we are going through as of now is I Am Saving My Beach. The next question is, India's first testbed for autonomous navigation systems is set up in which particular city? Is it in Mumbai or Bangalore or Kolkata or Hyderabad? The correct answer is option D, Hyderabad. Tihan is going to be set up in IIT Hyderabad. The next question is, which among these has become a member of the International Organization of the Securities Commissions recently? The correct answer is option B, International Financial Services Centers Authority or IFSCA. Going through with the next question, which country's 25th constitutional amendment has been laid out recently? Is it Pakistan or Japan or India or United States of America? The correct answer is option D, United States of America. The government of India recently formed a committee to protect the language, land and culture of Ladakh. Who is the head of this particular committee? The head of this particular committee is option B, G. Kishan Reddy. Going through the next question, what is the length of India's first double stack long haul container train? The length of this particular train is 1.5 kilometers. Which country is going to launch the world's first wood-based satellite? Is it America or India or China or Japan? So the world's first wood-based satellite is going to be launched by Japan. Who has been recently re-elected as the president of the Central African Republic? Is it option A, Archange Touadera, or Bambari, or Kim Bangasu, or John Batangfo? The correct answer is option A, Archange Touadera. Okay, he has been re-elected as the president of the Central African Republic. He is a 63-year-old person. He has been the president of the Central African Republic since the year of 2016. What is the theme of International Akhand Conference EduCon 2020? Is it option A, envisioning education for transforming youth to restore global peace, or option B, youth to restore global peace, or option C, education for transforming youth, or option D, transforming youth? The correct answer is option A, envisioning education for transforming youth to restore global peace. The National Youth Parliament Festival is going to be celebrated on which date? On which date did we celebrate this particular festival? It is celebrated on option A, 12th of January 2021. On 12th of January, we're also celebrating the birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda. Which organization is to adopt the 100 Atal Tinkering Labs across the country? Is it option A, DRDO, or ISRO, or Tata Group, or Larsen & Toubro? The correct answer is option B, ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization. Which space agency is all set to launch the most powerful rocket in the world? Is it SpaceX, or ISRO, or NASA, or JAXA? The correct answer is option C, NASA. The Geological Survey of India has found promising concentrations of vanadium in which state? Recently it has been released. So the promising concentrations of vanadium have been found in the state of Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, it is a very new update that I am providing, but still it is very important that you remember going through which country has been removed from the list of the state of sponsors of terrorism. Okay, is it Sudan or Iran or Syria or all of the above? So which country was removed from the state sponsor of terrorism by the United States of America? The correct answer is option A, Sudan. India ranked at which place in the Henley Passport Index? The rank of India in the Henley Passport Index, it is option B, 85. Which organization has organized One Planet Summit? Is it United Nations, or World Bank, or France, or all of the above? Recently it has been organized by all the above. PMKVY or Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana was launched in which year? Is it 2010 or 2014 or 2015 or 16? The correct answer is option A, 2010. India's first fire park has been inaugurated in which state? Is it Odisha or Karnataka or Assam or Kerala? It has been inaugurated in the state of Odisha. Recently, Reserve Bank of India has set up a 6-member working group to check what type of frauds. Is it cash payment and withdrawal, or digital banking interface, or management of bank passbooks, or insurance and safety policies? So this particular 6-member working group are going to check the digital banking and interface, especially the digital lending frauds. Let us now go through with the question of the day that you people are waiting as of now. So the question of the day for today is, which organization has released the Financial Stability Report for December 2020? I repeat the question, which organization has released the Financial Stability Report for December 2020? Is it option A, International Monetary Fund, or option B, World Bank, or option C, Reserve Bank of India, or option D, the HDFC Bank? I repeat the options, IMF, or World Bank, or RBI, or HDFC Bank. The answer for this and the explanation for it I will be giving you in the next session. Until then, stay tuned to SSB Crack Exams, subscribe to this channel, download the Android app from Google Play Store. Always stay safe, stay healthy, keep smiling, be confident. Jai Hind.